ask us.
The final countdown. Are you ready? Tonight at 6.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, on one of the nation's busiest travel weekends, will the proposed oil merger between the country's largest oil companies drive up the price of gas? A new standoff looms between America and Cuba over a 5-year-old boy. The end of an era at the Washington Zoo. And at a beloved shrine in Italy, a restoration worth a celebration.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening. I'm Carol Simpson. By road, by rail, by air, nearly 34 million people are traveling this holiday weekend. You're looking now at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, where the number of flights is up 10% over last year. And if you think it all quiets down tonight, the Chicago Department of Aviation says the busiest day may indeed be tomorrow. As for those behind the wheel, this week's proposed merger between the nation's oil giants, Exxon and Mobil, is raising serious questions about what will happen to the price of a tank of gas. Here's ABC's Bill Redeker.
On this, one of the busiest travel weekends of the year, 28 million Americans hit the road. And along the way, they paid some of the highest gasoline prices in a decade.
It's too expensive, especially premium, $1.53.
It's too much money. We have no choice.
Some motorists had more reason to complain than others. Prices in the West are the highest at about $1.40 a gallon. That's on average 20 cents more than in the Southeast. In California, gas is even more expensive, $1.50 or more. California's higher gas taxes and cleaner gasoline are part of the reason. But now, a new study says the concentration of only 6 companies refining 90% of the state's gasoline is mostly to blame.
High gas prices in California result mainly from inadequate competition.
The California study is important because this week, the Federal Trade Commission is expected to recommend the approval of the biggest oil industry merger in history, Exxon's $81 billion takeover of Mobil. And there are concerns the new company could reduce competition, driving prices up.
We've learned in our experience in the 20th century that the domination of this industry causes not only higher prices, but inefficiencies that are felt throughout the entire economy. And that hasn't changed with the oil industry.
It was exactly that concern that led the government to break apart Rockefeller's Standard Oil of New Jersey in 1911. Exxon and Mobil were 2 of the largest pieces. But the 2 companies say a monopoly is impossible because there is so much competition in the oil industry. Still, the 2 companies have agreed to sell 2,400 of their gas stations. But critics point out that represents only 15% of the total, and that the merger will create the biggest company in the world. Bill Redeker, ABC News, New York.
The click of the computer mouse joins the cash register ring this holiday weekend. Traditionally one of the busiest shopping weekends of the year. This is a look at the crowd outside Macy's in New York, one of the nation's largest department stores. American retailers are expected to take in $185 billion this season. $7.3 billion will go to e-tailers, those doing business on the internet. And as ABC's Andrea McCarran reports, e-commerce has become a lifesaver on Main Street, USA.
The streets of Montpelier, Vermont weren't packed with shoppers this weekend, but that's no reflection of the number of sales here. In just the last year, sales on the internet have boosted some Main Street merchants' revenues by 20%. Burr Morse's maple syrup shop used to be a seasonal business that peaked with the fall foliage. Today, it sells to customers around the world.
It becomes not just a Christmas thing or a colored leaf time of the year thing, but it becomes a winter thing and a summer thing. Internet is just great.
In a survey of 1,500 Main Street business districts nationwide, 74% have gone online since 1997.
Because of that, many small businesses that had been on the verge of collapse, threatened by retail giants, mega malls, and mail-order companies, are now thriving. and economically depressed towns that had been losing population are now growing.
You can see it in communities like Huntington, West Virginia, Coronado, California, where a lot of web-based businesses are coming in and they're bringing in a lot of workers.
Bring this one to the front.
Website builder David Zahn urges small business owners to get online.
With the internet, they have the opportunity to change in a very elegant and powerful way and become the kinds of merchants that will survive and prosper in the future. If they don't change, they're in jeopardy.
Clearly, they are getting the message. Main Street businesses now do as much as 20 to 40% of their sales on the internet. Andrea McCarran, ABC News, Washington.
New tension tonight between two countries already at odds, the United States and Cuba. And at the center of this latest political tug of war, a 5-year-old boy. ABC's Ron Claiborne reports from Miami.
He's being called the Miracle Boy, and it really does seem almost miraculous that 5-year-old Elian Gonzalez could survive alone for 3 days on an inner tube without food or water. But he did, while 6 adults who were with him died and 4 others, including his mother, are missing and presumed dead. No. Not only did the boy survive, Elian is thriving. He seemed healthy and happy as he played at his relative's home in Miami, where he's been living. But there's no fairy tale ending to this story, at least not yet. That's because the boy's father, who is in Cuba, said today he wants his son back, and the Cuban government is supporting him, demanding the return of what they called the kidnapped boy. The father, Juan Miguel Gonzalez, is divorced from Elian's mother, but helped raise him. He told us, I can offer him best of all the love that he needs. That's the most important thing. But Elian's cousins in Miami say he should remain in the U.S., as his mother wanted.
I think the only reason that she brought him here was to have a better opportunity, a better life, a better career, a better everything that he's not going to have over there.
This could soon become an international legal battle. American laws generally favor the parent.
Any court, any body, any tribunal would have to give considerable weight to the rights of the parent.
But Elian, like any other Cuban refugee who reaches American shore, also has a right to remain in the U.S. Right now, no one seems to know whether a parent's claim to custody of his child will outweigh a refugee's right to political asylum. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Miami.
Tomorrow on Good Morning America, a conversation with the cousin fighting to keep the young Cuban boy in the U.S. The World Trade Organization conference with participants from 135 nations begins Tuesday in Seattle. Demonstrations by environmental and labor groups are already underway in protest of the growing global power of corporations. Still to come on World News Tonight this Sunday, the National Zoo bids farewell to its star attraction. Why the Russian people continue to support the war in Chechnya. And the feds going around with pro-boxing.
This is World News Tonight, Sunday. Brought to you by Nicoderm CQ.
This is how hundreds of thousands of smokers have quit. It's the gradual step-down method, and you get it only from Nicoderm CQ. Store brand patches have only one step. You can't step down your dose. Nicoderm CQ has 3. You step down gradually, and gradual is the method doctors prefer. Quitting's important. Choose carefully. Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
Cold, dry air makes it worse. So can days like these. That's Scalp Stress Itch. And Scalpicin stops it. Clean, unscented, medicated. To stop scalp stress itch. Fast. Scalpicin stops scalp stress itch.
Do rich people deserve more space than the rest of us? Was technology meant to improve their lives alone? Do the stars shine for their eyes only? Introducing the special edition Century 2000. It's the first limited edition that isn't limited to the rich.
And during Buick's Countdown to 2000 event, get this special Millennium Package offer.
The new Century 2000 by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
My business runs on long hours and a leave. I can't settle for those pain relievers that quit too soon. Just 2 Aleve are strong enough to work all day. I used to need 8 Tylenol to do that. There's a tool for every job. For tough pain, it's Aleve.
People are mourning in Washington, D.C. for Xing Xing, the giant panda. He was 28, older than the panda's normal life expectancy, but his health declined significantly in the last 3 days. Today, Xing Xing was put to sleep. ABC's Carla Davis reports.
His name was Chinese for shining star, and that's what Xing Xing was since the day he arrived at the National Zoo with his mate Ling Ling 27 years ago. The 2 giant pandas were a gift to the United States from the Chinese government after President Richard Nixon's historic trip there in 1972. The gentle pandas were symbols of the possibility of peace, furry diplomats melting Cold War tensions without saying a word.
They were always the most popular attraction here. Each cub birth made headlines and was followed by disappointment when none survived.
Then Ling Ling died of heart failure in 1992, and Xing Xing gradually weakened over the next 7 years.
The plan is that his skin and skeleton will become a part of the Museum of Natural History's collection, and his tissues and organs will be retained for scientific study.
Zoo officials are now negotiating for another pair. It is estimated that less than 1,000 giant pandas are left in the world, and the Chinese government is very selective in giving the rare animals away. However, Zoo Atlanta did receive a pair just this month, and the only other pandas in this country at the San Diego Zoo gave birth this summer to a healthy cub, the first born in the U.S. to survive more than a few days. A tiny black and white bundle that perhaps one day can take up where Xing Xing left off. Carla Davis, ABC News, Washington.
An apparent race between a taxi cab and a train ended in tragedy in Compton, California. Police say the cab made a sudden left turn trying to beat a commuter train across the tracks. The train struck the car, setting it on fire and splitting it in half. All 6 people in the taxi were killed. A clarification tonight. In our political coverage last Sunday, an editing mistake left an erroneous impression. It implied that Pat Buchanan thought Republican rival George W. Bush agreed with President Clinton's China trade policy. Mr. Bush does not, and we regret the error. Still ahead, one woman's courageous campaign against a bloody practice.
My driving test kind of got off to a bad start.
On calls like this, you want to talk a while. That's why it's always a good idea to dial 10-10-321.
Well, I thought I was in first.
With 10-10-321, you save 50% on calls over 10 minutes. Now, that's just 8 cents a minute, day or night.
I was supposed to turn on the blinker.
And no monthly fees. And that 50% off, you can go on and on and on.
So finally, I pull out of the parking space.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
Nobody does it like you.
Wind tunnel by Hoover is here. It's breakthrough technology. Tests show it picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright.
Nobody
Wind tunnel by Hoover.
does it like you.
It's time. Time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
We're picking up our CEO. Fortunately, the company cars have OnStart. We swerved off the road and boom, the airbags go off. There was a deer. I never saw it. Seconds later, an OnStar advisor calls and says, I signal